What's up, everybody? This is your boy Slate, coming at you here with the premiere Crackdown 3 review. I've had some different thoughts playing this, as you might have seen our earlier video of just a showcasing of the Crackdown 3 gameplay. So we're just gonna dive a little bit more in depth into some things on Crackdown, some things I liked, some things I didn't like. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna start on the multiplayer side of things. So as you see, I'm playing a mode right here. This is called Agent Hunter. This is previous gameplay I recorded. This is all coming off of a PC. I have a 1080 NVIDIA graphics card and a hardwire connection. So there wasn't really much lag except for the occasional freezing, that I experienced for some reason. I really didn't give it much thought to investigate, quite honestly, because I didn't have that much fun playing the multiplayer. As you can see, I really think that as far as on the multiplayer standpoint, this kind of feels rushed, as everyone is familiar with back in 2014 at E3 what we were promised. It's just not the same product. The graphics have changed. It's a neon kind of light. The textures aren't really there. It seems like a very downgraded version of the campaign, and I'm not sure if that's to make up for the destruction, as we see rockets pummeling the walls. But are they walls? I mean, they kind of just fall apart with the easiest things. You pretty much just walk through and punch them. We were kind of promised back at that reveal that it would depend on your agent's level of how strong and how powerful things will crumble, but I just didn't see a bunch of that. Everything kind of feel like styrofoam, the way that it fell apart. The particles were kind of predictable. We were promised bullet holes that we'd be able to shoot through individual sections of the wall and run through those and create our own vast. We were promised the world, and we just kind of didn't get that. I mean, I see what they were going for with the multiplayer. I really do, but I think they fell way short of that, and I just don't think this should have shipped the multiplayer aspect. That's how much fun I did not have playing this. And this is not, I'm not trying to knock Crackdown, I'm not trying to kick it while it's down, but I just didn't have fun, and I'm a multiplayer guy. Multiplayer side of things is what I usually enjoy, but this just kind of feels like tacked on, and I just kind of at a loss for words as what 5 years of development does, where we kind of get this. I'm not sure, if they just had to scale back their grand ideas on what they promised and kind of just redo it. I'm not sure how many times their projects were redone, but this just isn't that really good of quality to me. There's a lot of times where I just didn't really know what was going on. I consider myself a pretty skillful multiplayer guy. I play third-person shooters, I play first-person shooters, I have good hand-eye coordination. There's auto lock on here. But a lot of the times it just didn't feel like I was in complete control. I don't really care for the UI. Not a lot of things jump out on me. There's not really a good tutorial on how to do certain stuff or what does what. The object of this is to kill the other agents and collect their tags. But a lot of times I just found myself wandering around and kind of just going with the flow. It didn't feel like it has a high ceiling at all, as far as any competitive scenes. The gameplay just isn't that deep, and quite honestly, I'm surprised I can find matches with people still playing this so late into the lifespan. I mean, it came out about a month ago, but I'm surprised there's people still playing this, quite honestly. But yeah, the multiplayer, it just did not do it. If anything, it hurt my impression of the game. That's what it did. But yeah, well, moving on, to the campaign, as far as we're gonna dive into that. Now, that was what our gameplay coverage pretty much went over earlier in my earlier video, was the campaign. And honestly, going from multiplayer to campaign is night and day. Oh, nearly night and day. Now, maybe it's night and afternoon, but the campaign I think is a really good quality. I really do enjoy, like, the graphics are better than the multiplayer. There's just so much to do, as you can see on this menu. There's just so many places to go, different activities. The map is full of things to do. You never run out of things to do. That's what I really appreciate. I think they really nailed it with the campaign portion of this. As you'll see later, what I do enjoy are the cutscenes that we see. The art style, the artwork. It's kind of like a comic book cutscene style. But I do wish we kind of had that campaign, like traditional CGI, maybe in-engine cutscenes. But as I dug deeper into the weapons, the systems, you know, that's just that was always there. But I'm just, it hurts me to say that I would really enjoy like a more of a narrative, but this is just not what that game is. So if you're looking for that premier single player, you know, you're not gonna get it with Crackdown. You're gonna get some fun stuff. You're gonna get a good time. But as far as the return attachment rate on this, like what the incentive to come back and just play it more and more, you're probably not going to get that. I'm a pretty big Crackdown fan. I really enjoyed Crackdown 3, I really enjoyed Crackdown 1 way back in 2007. But looking back, you know, I'm 27 years old now. When 2007 was around, you know, when that was out, I was 16, give or take. So what I really think happened was Crackdown 1 was a great game to wait for Halo on. As you know, Crackdown 1 released with the Halo 3 beta. And so while we were waiting on that, we just bought this $60 game that has co-op online. And let's just play that. And it was fun. You know, it was fun. But can Crackdown stand on its own as a premier AAA title that comes with no attachments? It doesn't come with the Halo Infinite beta. So can this stand on its own with a promise of having a good time? And the answer, I mean, you'll have a good time, but the answer for like a fulfilling experience, you know, sadly, is just a no. It's a great shoot 'em up, get on here, be mindless, just run around, get the different weapons. They do bring the weapons, they do bring the boom, but it just doesn't go much further than that. It's fun walking through different boss bases, climbing the levels, and so on, but the gameplay is somewhat competitive, unfortunately. Or not competitive. Gameplay is somewhat repetitive, unfortunately. And you know, that's it's very disappointing. I feel like for Crackdown to really take that next step, they have to revamp. This is Crackdown 1.5. It improved on the original Crackdown in different ways, but you know, it also like it stayed the same so much that it doesn't really stand on its own. You know, without any crutch of a Halo beta promise or things like that. You know, I just can't recommend someone drop $60 on this. I personally have the Game Pass, so that's how I was able to play it. And truth be told, when I first started playing this, I'd be like, I was like, yeah, you know, I would drop $60 on this. You know, it's Crackdown. I enjoy old Crackdown, but as I dove deeper into it, got through more bosses, you know, unfortunately, it's just more of the same without much reward given back from getting that story through a campaign or something like this. This kind of ultimately it feels a bit arcadey, and that hurts to say. It does not feel like a game that should be released on Xbox's main console in 2019. It kind of feels like a 2011 type game. You know, ignoring all the effects are very beautiful at times, the particles and things like that, the explosions I really do appreciate. But other than that, you know, I'm not seeing much here that would warrant, you know, someone going out and dropping $60 for this. Maybe for someone who's a bit younger, doesn't have that much of attention span, they'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And you know, and maybe for those who just want to come home from the office and just destroy things, you know, I think that's for them. But again, that type of money, I just don't think it's worth it here. Unfortunately, I just can't give it my recommendation. I have to give Crackdown 3 a 5.5 out of 10 qubits, and that hurts me. That hurts me a lot. And as you know, just last week we gave Kingdom Hearts 3 an 8.5 out of 10 Josh Wise. When you compare a 5.5 qubits to 8.5 Josh Wises, it's crazy to think about, because the level of quality that a 5.5 qubits holds is just, you know, it's unfortunate. And to think that this came from a AAA title of Microsoft, you know, one of the biggest gaming giants, one of the biggest companies in the world, and 4 or 5 years in the making, it hurts. It hurts coming from a Crackdown fan to give that score. You know, it just hurts. It hurts, period. And I wish I could give it a better score than 5.5 qubits out of 10 qubits. But you know, that's just what we have to do here. I can't recommend anyone really get this. And you know, I probably won't go back to it. There's really no reason to go back to it. There's other things I want to play right now, other things I want to do, and you know, it's just disappointing. But if you guys, you know, if you agree, if you disagree, definitely leave a comment. Tell me your experiences of playing Crackdown. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Maybe I'm not seeing the full picture here. But please feel free to like the video if you enjoyed this. If you didn't, leave a dislike. We appreciate all types of feedback. If you did enjoy it, you know, drop a comment. Feel free to subscribe to us. That helps us out so much. Likes help us out so much. But we really appreciate you guys sticking around here. And you know, just keep it right here. We're gonna keep bringing you videos consistently, and we look forward to our next adventures here. But this is Slade again. Thank you for checking out my review of Crackdown 3. You guys have a good one.